Lately, it seems a consensus has formed around Pahkitew Island being the worst season of total drama. This consensus is wrong. In all seriousness, I get why people don't like Pahkitew Island, but I find it baffling that so many people consider it worse than All-Stars. This season is a complete trash fire in almost every department. Let's start with the basic premise. The idea of combining the first two casts was a good one. Sure, it's a bit odd that both of them got equal representation, considering the original cast has twice the characters to choose from, but that's not a big deal. The problem is there isn't a lot done with this crossover. There are barely any notable interactions between the casts. Everyone mostly just sticks to the people they already know, with 3 exceptions. Sierra, who just treats Cameron like Cody and starts to think he is Cody. Heather and Joe, who you'd expect to be really engaging rivals, but they just bicker over petty stuff until Joe is eliminated. And then there's Scott. He has a funny and weirdly wholesome romance with Courtney.
Ladies first. Or is that wrong because this is dangerous? Or is that wrong because this is the 21st century? Or is it the 22nd?
While it lasts, at least. Honestly, Scott is probably the best part of this season in general. Yeah, he's different from his appearance in Revenge, but I really don't mind. The other big gimmick of this season is having the teams be heroes versus villains, which is an interesting idea when you think about it for less than 5 seconds. Putting all the nice people on one team and the manipulative schemers on the other just results in the heroes having nothing going on and the villains having so much going on it feels suffocating. Also, while the people on the hero team were nice in previous seasons, they feel absurdly nice here. It's kinda creepy. The challenges are all based on challenges from previous seasons, which is another great idea that's executed horribly. These don't feel like revamped versions of past challenges. They feel like leftover challenges from Revenge of the Island, but the writers make a loose connection to a past challenge to justify it. Most of them aren't that interesting either, and they use Fang way too much here. His presence in Revenge made sense because he was Scott's biggest weakness and the mutants were all over the place, but here, I just got sick of seeing him. Like, really? He's the final obstacle of the season? They couldn't come up with anything else? There are a few good challenges, like the Fun Zone, which implies that Chris had sex with his Venus flytrap somehow, Suckers Punched, and the Blue Harvest Moon. Although, I might just like that one because it gave us nice Heather, and she is a treasure. Speaking of Heather, we might as well get to the characters. The ones they chose mostly made sense, aside from Sierra and Sam, who had no business being here and did basically nothing the entire time. Chris is at his worst here. I'll go into more detail about his decline later, but this season adds something new. Him directly taunting individual contestants about their personal lives. It's not entertaining, and it doesn't even make him more hateable. It just makes him look pathetic. Like, he has so little faith in his own show that he feels the need to create the drama himself. It almost feels like he's insulting the audience's intelligence in a way. Like he can't trust us to pick up on what's going on. Or maybe that's the writers doing it. I don't know. I could go into all the individual contestants and what's wrong with them, but most of them have a similar problem. They're borderline allergic to logic. Best example I can think of is the fact that Alejandro, the most strategic and manipulative character in the entire series, spends half the season pretending his legs are asleep. At no point are we given anything resembling a reason why he did this. He literally got nothing out of doing it, and we're never shown what he was expecting to gain from doing it, if anything. He never tried to gain sympathy or get out of challenges. He just walked on his hands most of the time. Did he just want to show off the fact he could walk on his hands? If so, I think he made his point by the end of the 2nd episode. Some other examples include Heather hiding the immunity idol and it never occurring to her that Alejandro saw her hide it, despite him talking to her almost immediately afterward. And then there's the boxing challenge where Chris pretends the fights are random when they're actually tailored to the contestant in the ring. Pretending it's random doesn't add anything to the challenge. If anything, it takes away from it because Chris has to screw with some of the fights to keep the illusion up. It's a pointless deception that the characters look dumb for not seeing through immediately. Then we get to the overarching storylines. There's almost nothing new here. The 3 main focuses are Heather and Alejandro's rivalry, Mike keeping his personalities in check so he can be with Zoe, and Courtney and Gwen's love triangle with Duncan, all of which were some of the biggest plot lines in their respective seasons. And aside from the love triangle, all these plot lines had already reached their logical conclusions. Giving us more here just makes them feel so played out, it initially made me like the entirety of these plot lines less. Now, there is one new plot line we get, and it's easily the worst storyline in the series. Mal. Even if you don't think All Stars is the worst season, I dare you to tell me there's somehow a worse villain than Mal. Basically, one of the biggest plot lines in season 4 was Mike getting all his alternate personalities under control. Now, thanks to Scott accidentally hitting him in the head, a new personality is awoken. Mal. The show does everything it can to make him seem like this super intimidating force, but he's just pathetic. The other season's villains had these things called strategies. They weren't always good strategies, but at least they had actual plans for winning. Mal just goes around breaking things because he's cartoonishly evil, and any strategies he does have are contradictory. Like, he tries to manipulate Cameron into only trusting him, but also constantly tries to get him kicked off. Which is it? Do you want to use him or get rid of him as soon as possible? You can't do both. He's also incredibly obvious. The only reason he goes so long without getting found out is because, like I said earlier, the show turns everyone else into complete morons. Alejandro is a master of manipulation and has the best people skills in the series, yet he thinks it's a good idea to tell this clearly dangerous, violent guy that he not only knows who he is, but also has evidence against him. It's not even an attempt to blackmail him, it's just simple gloating. He gains literally nothing from telling Mal this. This is the kind of mistake Phoenix Wright would make, not Alejandro. Cameron was able to correctly diagnose all of Mike's personalities just from watching him in action, and he doesn't notice anything off about Mike. And then there's Zoe. To all the Zoe fans out there, this is the reason so many people hate her. In Revenge, she was essentially female Trent, which worked because she wasn't the focus. Here, she becomes the main focus, and they made her dumber than season 1 Lindsay. She's made aware of Mal's existence pretty early on, and she spends so much time seeing Mike act suspicious and uncharacteristically nasty, and doesn't put 2 and 2 together until Mal brings up the necklace Mike gave her. Keep in mind, Zoe is Mike's girlfriend. How the hell does she not see through this? The arc of stopping Mal is stupid too. We get this journey through Mike's mind because apparently Chris managed to get cameras in Mike's head, and Mal is defeated by Mike pressing a button. You built this guy up as the ultimate evil, and he's defeated not by a smart play for the person he spent the season tormenting, or by the exact kind of con he pulled on everyone else, or by overestimating his own abilities. No, it's a freaking button. Also, why would Aqua sinks in the end despite it being established in action that it's not actually an island? But hey, since when has continuity mattered in this show? I've got plenty more to say about All Stars, like how Gwen is an insufferable crybaby here, or how they made Lindsay so dumb she doesn't understand basic motor functions, or how I don't think there was any communication behind the scenes about what they wanted to do with Courtney, but I think I've said enough about this abysmal season.
This music is extremely unfitting for an intro, and your syncing skills are absolutely abysmal.
Care to explain? No? Okay, I mean, you guys make a lot of dumb points in this video, but at least I know what your complaints are. This, I don't even know what you mean. I mean, I know your intro's short and quick, but I wouldn't call my skills abysmal. It's kind of funny seeing someone complaining about my intro and their complaint isn't the fact that it's 40 seconds long. Seriously guys, you could just skip it. Also, that's rich considering the fact that this video has terrible audio balancing issues. And this I actually will explain. In the video, and it's more noticeable if you watch it on its own on YouTube, the audio from my video is a lot quieter than them talking, and Rendezzel especially gets way too loud as the video goes on. Okay, now I'm gonna skip to the part where they're complaining about it being a top 9.
You could have easily put any one of these honorable mentions at number 10 because a top 9 is very unusual.
I couldn't decide, although I will admit that is a legitimate point. Oh, and also,
As opposed to just 9 because again, 9 is a very unusual number to do a countdown on.
why did you feel the need to say the same thing that's common knowledge twice within 15 seconds of each other? I'd be less hard on you for this, but several commentaries later, you criticize Meta for doing the same thing.
Are pretty easy to predict. Anyone everyone who's going to vote usually votes on the first day or so.
That's a pretty huge assumption, Mr. Jumping to Conclusions.
Not if you've done this before, Evan. Not if you've done this before.
Everything's too good for him.
Why the hell are you using bits from Portal 2 with GLaDOS? The point of transition footage is to use something relevant to the list. I know this is a nitpick, but jeez.
You know, I'd explain this myself, but Freeze also did a commentary on this video, and I think he summed it up best.
How did you miss that? I haven't played that game, and even I know it's referencing because GLaDOS, or whatever the thing's name is referencing how she's going to kill someone.
The reason I hate him is because his world that he created and cares about is on the brink of peril on 3 separate occasions, and he does absolutely nothing to fix it.
Then the game won't exist. So you hate him essentially for making the game happen.
No, I don't hate him for making the games happen. I hate him because of the fact that he does nothing to help his world when it's on the brink of chaos, despite acting so passionately about it. And he narrates the adventures, so clearly he knows what's going on. The fact of the matter is, the developers could have given him any number of reasons why he couldn't intervene. But no, they don't. Oh yeah, and the skipping. Look, normally I get it. Most commentators don't want to commentate on the whole entire video. They just skip to the points where they have nothing to say, because there's not really much point in putting extensive footage of stuff where you have pretty much nothing to say. But the fact of the matter is, these guys skip around so freaking much in this commentary. Only 4 out of the 9 entries on this list do they actually have anything to say about, and heck, 2 of them, they barely have anything to say about. It's the point where the total runtime of their commentary is half the length of my original video. When you have to skip this much, you really should do one of 2 things. Either A, call off the commentary, or B, restrict it to a one-shot. Because the fact of the matter is, you're making a video look terrible despite the fact that a good chunk of it you didn't even have a problem with. Sorry if I got a bit sidetracked there. Back to the video.
To indicate that you're low on health. It's very annoying, but I can see what they were going for.
Is it just me, or is he using the same footage over and over?
Yeah, when he's talking about the sound she makes when you're low on health, he's just showing the same repeating clip of attacking the 2 Deku Babas over and over again.
That's a good point. I couldn't find enough footage of Link being low on health, but I really should have tried harder. Also, that take wasn't particularly bad. Why are you going ballistic on me for not using a script?
He's just overall one of the best villains in gaming.
Okay, let's not get carried away here. Saying that Fawful is one of the best villains in gaming is... no.
Oh yeah, treat me like a little kid because I have a different opinion than you. You gotta be careful about that. You could inspire idiots even worse than you. Although, considering what comes later in this commentary, I bet you're just mad at me for that because I didn't say a character from Ace Attorney.
No, Evan, no!
Oh yeah, compare me to my favorite countdown maker as an insult. Real hurtful there. Look, I know he's not perfect, but if Fawful's minion is your idea of a terrible countdown maker, I'm kinda glad you hate my video.
Fawful would have made a great final boss.
Considering that Fawful is actually part of the battle, you shouldn't be too disappointed.
Yes, I admit I goofed on that, and in fact, I actually left a comment admitting that I goofed on that on my video.
What did you expect? He was someone at the end of the game. Of course he's not gonna have that much of a personality.
Are you saying randomly throwing in a character at the end of the game is a good thing? Because last time I checked, the Countdown community and most gamers in general are pretty unanimously against that.
To the final boss that's supposed to wrap up the story.
You fight Fawful along with Dark Bowser, in which Fawful dies. No, it wouldn't!
You know, most commentators try to avoid repeating themselves. I bring this up because it's clear that you don't.
Though that wasn't even built up at all in the game whatsoever.
He was brought in at the end of the game. No there wouldn't be any time to build this up!
Again, you're repeating yourself.
Why couldn't we have Fawful as the final boss? Why?
Again, you do fight Fawful. As part of the fight with Dark Bowser, Mario and Luigi are inside of Bowser's body, and when Bowser inhales Fawful, you play as Mario and Luigi.
Are you guys under the impression that this is some sort of interactive experience and that based on what you say it'll change the rest of the video? Because that's the only explanation I can think of for how much you two are repeating yourselves!
Pretty much just really an annoying guy to go up against in the court, and there are many reasons why.
The hell are you trying to say?
How is it annoying? You play as Phoenix Wright, someone who's only been in 3 cases prior to Turnabout Goodbyes, as opposed to Von Karma, who's been doing his job as a prosecutor for 40 years!
How does that make that not annoying? Seriously, you proved nothing!
Case in 25 years.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Did you just say 25 years?
Oh.
Oh.
Can you not read? It says at the very beginning of the first trial that he's never lost a case in 40 years.
I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've played the game, so I forgot that unimportant fact that apparently was so important to you. Seriously, does the number of years really matter that much that you need to get so angry at me?
Well, so why is Manfred the main choice for hated Ace Attorney characters? Where's the hate for Dahlia Hawthorne?
Probably because they haven't played the other games of the series? Kinda like me?
Look, I used to hate Von Karma a lot too, but after replaying the original...
Wait, are you being nice to me? Oh wait, no, you're just talking more about Ace Attorney. Hey guys, I'm pretty sure the purpose of this video was to criticize me, not fanboy on about Ace Attorney. Seriously, Rendezzel, you have your other videos for that.
Far worse than Von Karma. But I'm not going to hold it against you because it's very unlikely that you've played Investigations 2.
Yet you automatically assume I've played the other games in the series.
Also, if you object to anything and it's not the exact evidence you need, Von Karma's gonna be quick to shut you up and sometimes can even get you a strike for no real reason.
Yeah, let's not forget that the Judge, Edgeworth, Francisco Von Karma, Godo, Simon Blackwell, Christoph Gavin, and even Gumshoe, if we count Investigations, all do!
Okay, here's something that I sort of got wrong. I misspoke. What I meant is that if you so much as press a witness, Von Karma will object to everything and can even give you a strike. I'm aware that if you object and present the wrong evidence to the judge, obviously you're going to get a strike. Also, I can't speak for the future games because, like I said, I've only played this one. And you guys assume I've played the others.
The gun Edgeworth threw was Yanni Yogi's, not his father's.
Of course, right when I thought you guys were going to be reasonable, you just make a mountain out of a molehill again. Okay, here's the thing. When people like the Nostalgia Critic nitpick, it's clear they're doing it as a joke. You guys seem legitimately angry about me getting these facts wrong that really doesn't change my point. You know, I'm just gonna bet that these guys probably would have ignored my video had I not dragged Ace Attorney into it. I mean, aside from my Dark Bowser entry, they really didn't have a whole lot to say, and even then they repeated themselves a lot. Plus, they are clearly big fans of Ace Attorney, seeing as both their avatars are from it, and I've checked out some of Rendezzel's channel content, and a lot of it's about Ace Attorney.
Bertrand. Freaking Bertrand. I friggin' hate this guy.
And since neither of us have played Infamous 2, let's end it here.
If you're not going to talk about it, then why'd you even bring it up? Seriously, you could have just said, since number one's from Infamous 2 and neither of us have played this game, how about we ended off here? Because that's a facial expression of someone screaming in agony. Watch, I can do that too. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-ay, my oh my, what a wonderful day.